Did you know that the most dangerous moment of your day might be the very first hour in the morning? Yes, right after you wake up, even before brushing your teeth, before turning on the TV, before taking your first sip of water. It's during that interval, between opening your eyes and taking your first steps, that your body, without you realizing it, turns into a silent minefield. The heart speeds up, blood pressure rises suddenly, the blood thickens, and the risk of a stroke can triple, especially in people over the age of 65. A study by the American Heart Association revealed that most strokes in older adults occur between 6 and 10 in the morning. And the scariest part, in many cases, the cause isn't a serious disease or genetic issue. It's simply the accumulation of small mistakes, common habits repeated every day, right after waking up. Have you ever felt dizzy when getting out of bed? Noticed your heart racing early in the morning? Had a headache, neck stiffness, blurred vision, or a heavy body sensation in the first hours of the day? These may be warning signs. Your body is trying to speak to you, even if you don't yet understand its language. That's why, in this video, you'll discover the 10 most dangerous habits that seniors do right after waking up, and that can drastically increase the risk of silent stroke, sudden hypertension, and vascular collapse. These are simple actions that seem harmless but put your brain, health, autonomy, and even your life at serious risk. And most importantly, you'll learn how to reverse this with the right habits, quick and natural ones, that anyone at any age can apply immediately. Now is the time to pay attention, because after a certain age, the body doesn't forgive carelessness, and the price of ignoring these signs may be far too high. First dangerous habit: getting out of bed abruptly without activating circulation. One of the most dangerous mistakes made right after waking up, especially by people over the age of 65, is getting out of bed too quickly without preparing the body for this transition. During the night, the body enters a deep state of rest. Circulation slows down, blood pressure naturally drops, and blood redistributes. The heart beats slower, vessels relax, and the brain receives less blood flow. All of this is part of the normal sleep process. The problem is that upon waking, the nervous system is still in the process of reorganizing. And if someone gets up abruptly, without gradually activating circulation, they may suffer a sudden drop in cerebral pressure or, in other cases, a sudden spike in blood pressure. This imbalance is known as orthostatic hypotension, and it can cause dizziness, blurred vision, loss of balance, or even fainting and strokes. In elderly individuals, this risk is even higher. A study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society showed that just 2 minutes of adjustment between lying down and standing up reduces the risk of morning vascular collapses by up to 64%. It's something simple but powerful. Upon waking, the ideal is to slowly turn to your side, sit on the edge of the bed, take a few deep breaths, move your feet and hands, stretch your shoulders, and only then stand up slowly. This 90-second pause may seem small, but it has the power to protect the brain, the heart, and even save a life. Second dangerous habit: skipping the glass of water upon waking. It's a silent mistake, almost invisible, but it harms the brain, heart, and kidneys every day. Many people wake up and go straight to coffee or don't even remember to drink water, but during sleep, the body loses up to 1 liter of fluid through breathing, sweating, and urination. And when you wake up dehydrated, your blood is thicker, slower, more dangerous. Cerebral circulation becomes impaired, the heart has to work harder to pump, and that's exactly what can lead to sudden high blood pressure or even a silent stroke. According to a study in the European Journal of Neurology, morning dehydration is directly linked to an increased risk of stroke in people over 65 years old. And the fix is simple: a glass of warm water, between 200 and 300 milliliters, taken right after waking up, before any other beverage. Warm water activates the intestines, protects the kidneys, stimulates the liver, and helps thin the blood, facilitating oxygen transport to the brain. It's like giving your body a bath from the inside. You gently awaken the body, and most importantly, you start the day protecting your vessels, your arteries, and your mental clarity. It may seem small, but it's not. Those who ignore this habit are postponing the hydration of their entire system, and over time, that comes at a high price. Drinking water right after waking up is the simplest and most powerful gesture an elderly person can do to keep their brain functioning, their heart light, and their body safe. Third dangerous habit, going straight for strong coffee on an empty stomach. It's almost automatic. The elderly wake up, go to the kitchen, and prepare the strongest coffee possible without eating anything first. The smell is comforting. The taste wakes you up. But what seems like a simple habit can actually be a dangerous trigger for the brain and heart. Caffeine on an empty stomach causes an immediate release of adrenaline and cortisol, two hormones that put the body into a state of maximum alert. This increases heart rate, raises blood pressure, and makes the blood thicker. For younger people, the body usually handles it well, but in people over 60, with stiffer blood vessels and greater cardiovascular sensitivity, this surge can be dangerous. The blood flows too quickly, the heart beats harder than it should, and the brain receives an impact that can lead to mental confusion, dizziness, anxiety, tremors, or, in extreme cases, a stroke. A study published in the Journal of Hypertension showed that consuming caffeine on an empty stomach can raise systolic blood pressure by up to 20% in the early morning hours, especially in older adults with a history of hypertension or caffeine sensitivity. The good news is that there's a solution. You don't need to give up coffee, just protect your body. Before the first sip, it's ideal to eat something light. A ripe banana, a spoonful of oats with fruit, or even a handful of nuts. This small meal helps balance hormone release, reduces the impact on the nervous system, and protects the heart. If possible, choose a weaker filtered coffee or replace it with a mild tea in the early hours of the day. Your body will thank you. So will your brain. Drinking black coffee on an empty stomach might seem harmless, but over the years, it's the kind of habit that silently weakens your health and can be corrected with a simple choice. Fourth dangerous habit, ignoring the body's early signs. Many people wake up with a heavy body, stiff joints, leg pain, mild shortness of breath, or a feeling that something's off, but simply ignore it. They take a quick shower, get dressed in a hurry, and start the day as if it were normal. But it's not. These small signs, especially common in the early hours of the morning, are the body's quietest way of warning that something is wrong with circulation, heart rhythm, or even the brain. The problem is that over the years, the sensitivity to danger diminishes. A person feels a sharp pain and thinks it's the mattress, feels chest discomfort and blames anxiety, gets up feeling dizzy but attributes it to the heat. This kind of behavior is what makes the risk of stroke even more treacherous, because it's often preceded by micro-warnings that the elderly don't recognize. According to the World Stroke Organization, more than 25% of strokes could be prevented if early symptoms were taken seriously at their first signs, especially in the morning when the body is more vulnerable. These symptoms include unusual headaches, mild confusion, tingling in the limbs, blurred vision, or sudden difficulty concentrating. The recommendation is clear. If you wake up with any unusual feeling that isn't typical for your body, even if it's mild, pause, breathe, observe, and take note. If it's something that repeats for more than 2 or 3 days in a row, don't wait for it to worsen to seek help. If it's something new and intense, don't wait even an hour. Identifying the signs early is like spotting a spark before the fire. Ignoring it can cost you your autonomy, your speech, your mobility, or even your life. But listening to what your body is saying, even in silence, can save you. Fifth dangerous habit, not moving the body in the first hours of the day. Waking up and spending the first hours of the day sitting still, waiting for energy to come on its own, is a dangerous mistake, and unfortunately, very common in old age. Many people get up, go straight to the table or the couch, have breakfast, and remain there passively as if their body was still asleep. But the body needs movement, especially after 60, when circulation slows down, muscles lose elasticity, and blood vessels become more sensitive to blockages. Staying still early in the day is like damming a river. Blood accumulates, pressure becomes unregulated, and the risk of clots or hypertensive spikes increases. The heart feels it, the brain too. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity showed that just 5 minutes of light movement in the morning, like walking around the house, climbing a small flight of stairs, or doing simple stretches, can reduce the risk of ischemic stroke in sedentary elderly people by up to 32%. In other words, it's not necessary to do heavy exercises or go to a gym. Just move your body, wake up the muscles, and help the blood to circulate. Ladies and gentlemen who walk around the table, stretch their arms and legs, take deep breaths, and stretch mindfully are protecting much more than their muscles. They're irrigating the brain. They're signaling the heart that it's time to work in rhythm. They're preventing morning stagnation from becoming a vascular trigger throughout the day. Not moving the body in the morning is like leaving a car running with the handbrake on. It may seem fine, but inside the parts are being silently strained. Sixth dangerous habit, starting the day in total silence without mental stimulation. Many people wake up and spend the first hour of the day without any cognitive stimulation. They don't talk to anyone, don't read, don't listen to anything meaningful, don't perform even a simple mental task. They remain in silence, in passivity, just repeating automatic movements. And this, over time, deeply harms the brain, especially in old age. In the first minutes of the day, the brain is more receptive. Levels of dopamine, acetylcholine, and other neurotransmitters are in the process of regulation. This is the moment when the nervous system most needs stimulation to organize itself and keep connections active. When this activation doesn't happen, brain networks gradually lose agility, plasticity, and even function. A study from Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience showed that elderly individuals who engage in small mental stimulations in the early hours of the day, such as listening to music, playing a quick word game, reading aloud, or talking to someone, have up to 42% less risk of developing cognitive decline in the following years. The recommendation is simple but powerful. As soon as you wake up, say out loud something you are grateful for, or read a small passage from a book, listen to soft music that moves you, or simply talk to someone with presence. The brain needs to understand that the day has begun and that it is an active part of it. Starting the day in total silence is like leaving the brain in standby mode, as if it were just a spectator. But the mind, just like the body, needs to be awakened with purpose, gently but with intention. It's through small stimuli that a strong, resilient, and protected mind is built, even in old age. Seventh dangerous habit, not urinating upon waking up. This is one of the most ignored habits among the elderly, and also one of the most dangerous. Throughout the night, the kidneys continue to function, and the bladder gradually fills. When you wake up, it is already full or nearly full, and if you don't go to the bathroom immediately, the body enters a state of tension. The problem is that holding urine in the morning causes an increase in intra-abdominal pressure, activates the nervous system's alert receptors, and forces the heart to work harder to maintain circulatory stability. This retention activates the sympathetic system, the same system that responds to stress, and may trigger an unexpected spike in blood pressure. For older adults, this small morning imbalance can be the trigger for an ischemic or hemorrhagic stroke. A study published in the Journal of Hypertension Research analyzed 820 adults over the age of 65 and found a direct correlation between the habit of delaying the first urination of the day and a 21% increase in the risk of morning cardiovascular events, especially in individuals with hypertension or a history of mild kidney failure. The recommendation is straightforward: urinate as soon as you wake up. No more waiting a little longer, just having coffee first, or I'll go later. Empty the bladder, relieve internal pressure, and help the nervous system return to balance. This 1-minute gesture can prevent a dangerous discharge in the brain and protect you from serious consequences that many people only realize too late. 8th dangerous habit: ignoring intestinal health upon waking up. Many people have no idea, but the intestine and the brain are deeply connected. Upon waking, if the intestine is sluggish, blocked, or inflamed, it sends alert signals to the nervous system, which can directly affect blood pressure, heart rate, and vascular stability. And in the elderly, this represents a real risk of stroke. During the night, the body undergoes a natural detoxification process. The liver filters, the kidneys eliminate fluids, and the intestine prepares to expel accumulated waste. But if you wake up and don't have regular bowel movements, or don't even realize that you haven't gone to the bathroom for days, the body begins to reabsorb toxins and maintain active inflammation within the digestive system. This silent inflammation is one of the main risk factors for cardiovascular and brain diseases. A study published in Frontiers in Neurology showed that elderly people with chronic constipation have a 42% higher risk of suffering an ischemic stroke, and that the simple habit of stimulating the intestines in the early hours of the morning significantly reduces this risk. The recommendation is practical. Drink warm water upon waking, consume fiber-rich foods for breakfast, such as oats, chia, or fruits with skin, and maintain a healthy bowel routine. If necessary, natural probiotics may help, as long as they are used under professional guidance. Having a bowel movement early in the morning is not just about comfort. It's protection, it's internal pressure release. It's the most organic way to start the day with a clean, light body and systems working in sync. 9th dangerous habit: not breathing properly upon waking. It's common to wake up with short, shallow, or even rapid breathing, especially among the elderly. Many don't even realize it. But this shallow breathing pattern can be more dangerous than it seems. It reduces oxygen intake in the lungs, compromises brain oxygenation, and forces the heart to work harder to compensate for the imbalance. During the night, the body enters an energy-saving mode. When you wake up, the brain needs to return to full activity, and for that, it requires a constant flow of oxygen. If that oxygen doesn't arrive in the right amount, blood pressure may rise, the heart may become unstable, and the risk of a vascular event increases silently. A study published in the American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine analyzed adults over the age of 60 with shortened morning breathing and found up to a 35% increase in the risk of silent stroke, the kind that doesn't show clear signs at the time but leaves cognitive and motor sequelae that appear over time. The solution is simple, free, and extremely effective. As soon as you wake up, sit on the bed or in a comfortable chair, close your eyes and breathe deeply. Inhale counting to 4, hold for 2 seconds, and exhale counting to 6. Repeat this for 3 to 5 minutes. This practice activates the vagus nerve, regulates heart rate, reduces cortisol, and stabilizes blood pressure, preparing the brain to start the day in balance. Breathing well upon waking is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's a small gesture that can prevent serious consequences. In old age, where every detail matters, the right oxygen at the right time is one of the most powerful silent protections you can offer your brain. 10th dangerous habit, sleeping with the wrong pillow and waking up with a compressed neck. Few people talk about this, but they should. The way you sleep directly influences your brain circulation in the early hours of the morning. And among the elderly, this detail can mean the difference between a peaceful awakening and a silent vascular accident. Sleeping with a pillow that's too high, too low, or too soft can force the neck into an awkward angle throughout the night. This poor posture compresses important cervical arteries, such as the vertebral and carotid arteries, which are responsible for delivering oxygen to the brain. If this compression lasts for several hours during sleep, it can lead to transient ischemia, tingling, morning headaches, dizziness upon standing, and in more serious cases, trigger a stroke. A study published in the Journal of Stroke and Cerebrovascular Diseases showed that elderly individuals with poor cervical posture during sleep have a 34% higher risk of morning ischemic events, especially when associated with pre-existing conditions such as hypertension, cervical osteoarthritis, or atherosclerotic plaques. The recommendation is simple. Use a pillow that keeps the neck aligned with the spine, not tilted upward or downward. The head should be stable, and the flow between the neck and the brain should remain free. Those who sleep on their side should keep the pillow at the exact height of the shoulder. Those who sleep on their back should opt for a lower model that doesn't push the chin upward. Waking up with neck pain, stiffness, or a heavy head is not normal. It's your body's warning. Adjusting this detail can protect the main pathway that brings life to your brain. Conclusion: we've reached the end of this very important video. If you've made it this far and enjoyed what you learned, write in the comments, "My life is worth gold," and rate this content from 0 to 10. Now that you know the 10 dangerous habits that thousands of seniors still commit every morning without knowing the risk they're taking, it's time to choose differently. None of these actions require extreme effort, money, or medication, only awareness. Waking up and neglecting your circulation, breathing, bowels, or blood pressure is like playing with a ticking time bomb. Stroke doesn't warn you, it just happens. And it can take your independence, your speech, your clarity, or your life in seconds. But when you change how you start your day, you also change your body's destiny. With simple steps, you can protect your brain, your heart, and your freedom. Aging doesn't have to be the beginning of the end. It can be the start of self-care. And everything begins in the first hours of the morning. Remember, your body is a temple. Take care of it. See you in the next video, and may God bless you.